In this video presentation, we will be discussing the cognitivism learning theory and how this theory can be applied within education, both in a traditional classroom setting and as an e-learning course. To start off, we have to understand what is cognitivism. Cognitive theories stress the acquisition of knowledge and internal mental structures. They focus on the conceptualization of students' learning processes and address the issues of how information is received, organized, stored, and retrieved by the mind. Cognitivists do not require an outward exhibition of learning, but focus more on the internal processes and connections that take place during learning. The instructor takes on a facilitative role, while the student becomes the center of their own learning. Instructors should create courses and classrooms that promote meaningful learning, organization, and elaboration. A brief history of the theory. Jean Piaget is credited as the most influential psychologist in cognitive theory. According to Piaget's theory, human development can be outlined in terms of functions and cognitive structures. He created the stages of development. These stages include sensory motor, pre-operational, concrete operational, and formal operational. As children grow through these stages, certain tasks, learning concepts, and ability to understand abstract thoughts are developed. For education, Piaget believed that students needed an active classroom where they played an active role, learning by discovering techniques, with emphasis on creative expression. He also believed that the cognitive process of learning was more important than the end result, which is usually to teach learners certain concepts or theories. Cognitive learning theory helps support the inquiry-based model of learning. It allows for a student-centered approach to learning. Learners connect, investigate, discover, synthesize, and reflect on their learning. This is known as the inquiry learning cycle. Why is it important? Learners can activate their prior knowledge to deepen their understanding of new knowledge. Think about a time in which you needed to get someone's attention. Were they interested in what you had to say? Did they have any prior knowledge of what you were trying to explain? Was it frustrating for them if they didn't connect with the information? Learners need to feel connected to their own learning. Engaging learners through meaningful activities and allowing them to interact with new concepts in a safe, meaningful environment is important. In a traditional classroom, cognitive learning theory can be applied through many different ways. These include appropriate activities for developmental level of the learner, chunking and organizing information. This can be done through graphic organizers, learning through inquiry and hands-on problem solving, peer learning and peer review, and individualized instruction as much as possible. This theory also has an e-learning application. Instructional designers can use cognitivism within their online courses. Just as with any effective instructional design, focusing on the target audience is important. The cognitivism theory aligns with the practice of learner analysis in instructional design. Careful consideration of learners, engagement activities, and assessment within the online course can be guided by understanding and applying this theory. Instructional designers will look at the knowledge, comprehension, application, analysis, synthesis, and evaluation of their course online. It is also important for instructional designers to consider three main concepts within the cognitivism theory. These concepts have to do with cognitive load, or how much information a student or learner can process. These include the intrinsic, extraneous, and germane. Intrinsic cognitive load is the effort associated with the specific topic. Extraneous cognitive load refers to the way information or tasks are presented to a learner. And germane cognitive load refers to the work put into creating schema or prior knowledge. Instructional designers should review their course design in order to assess each of these areas. In e-learning, it can be tricky to put cognitivism theory into practice. This is where the creativity of the designer comes in. It is important to think outside of the box when designing learner engagement. Some examples include educational websites, and computer games that focus on stimulating a young child's senses while engaging them in various cognitive tasks, sorting and reasoning games, hands-on problem solving and inquiry-based activities, real-world application scenarios, and peer review projects. A major component of this theory is that it allows the instructor to place the student at the center of the instruction. It represents a shift in the education world, where teachers lecturing and expecting students to memorize or simply recall information is no longer the model. Now students can take ownership of their learning. Overall, understanding the cognitive processes of learning is beneficial for an educator or instructional designer. Keep in mind that the cognitive approach focuses on the mental activities of the learner that lead up to a response. It is a student-centered learning theory. It is important to activate prior knowledge and allow inquiry-based learning. And e-learning should consider the cognitive load. I hope you enjoyed this presentation. Thank you.